running. And let's see, I think we are ready to start whenever you want to get going, Tom.
All right, just let me, can you see my slide still?
Absolutely. Yep. Yes.
Great. Hi, everyone, and thanks for taking time out of your day to join us. There we go. We've got an agenda that includes an update on the subject matter expert team, something we talked about in our last meeting. The long-awaited and much anticipated name changes in. We're going to talk about our next release, previewing that. And we've got a quick look ahead, something to keep in mind. So during our last meeting, I talked about developing a subject matter expert team. And the whole idea here is that we connect and we work together to shape the growth of the platform itself. And we've envisioned 3 teams, one focused on design, another focus on strategic elements where we're taking the platform, another specific to marketing. And the Kylie and the core team has been super helpful. We've got full teams for design and strategy, but we've got some marketing spots available, which is a surprise to me because the marketing folks always seem to have the most energy in my experience. So please join. This is your opportunity to shape the platform. We've got such big plans, but it's where we go needs to be entirely consistent with the tradition and history of this platform, which is created by the community for the community. So thank you to everyone who's taken the time to volunteer to join us. Marketing experts, we need a few more. So the name change. We used to be OpenY, and now we are YMCA's website service. And the idea here is twofold. One, as I've mentioned before, the names that we were using, YCloud and OpenY, had constraints that prohibited us from moving forward with them. They were tied to other agreements. They were tied to other organizational agreements, and that's fine. Another thing I noticed as a new person was that in the way the ecosystem that Y National has developed, was established, I thought that some of the names weren't as meaningful as they could be. So for the sake of having clear title to all our names, for the sake of making it as easy as possible to understand what a particular product is for, we've renamed it all. And everything comes under the umbrella of YMCA's. And OpenY is now YMCA's website service. I love the way that the name is very meaningful. It does not flow like OpenY did. For me, as I say, WS, I just don't feel like OpenY, but we're going to get there, right? And YMCA's website service is the new title for our community. In a second, Tom's going to share a little bit about with you, that we've got a name, we can actually launch our site and have a name page. But Virtual Y will be our virtual experience platform. The Content Hub product that was in pilot a few months back is now YMCA's Digital Content Hub. We'll refer to our universal app as our mobile experience platform, and hosting as YMCA's cloud hosting service. I've also have the URLs there for your convenience. Tom, why don't you help the group visualize what our landing page will look like now, because between this name change and launching this site, we're a big step toward completing the transformation from OpenY to YMCA's website service is now in place.
Sure, absolutely, sounds great. Hopefully everyone's seeing my screen. This is the staging version. This is the not yet launched version of the new website. And as Tom was saying, the URL is going to use our new naming nomenclature. So that will be ds .ymca.org. So DS in this case being the name YMCA's Digital Services, which encompasses what we would refer to in the past as OpenY, or here at YUSA, that's what we were calling YCloud. So once you come to the site, this is the main landing page, and it'll give some information for what is YMCA's Digital Services, and start to have some marketing brochureware, if you will. And then once you scroll down, then this is where you'll see some highlight information for the core digital products. So what we were calling YCloud is now the YMCA's cloud hosting service. The OpenY Association websites will be YMCA's website service, and the Virtual Y is the Virtual Y Experience platform. So for people that want to get more information about each of these, then you can start clicking through these to get some more specific pages. Again, this is a demo site, so there's still some link things that need to be worked out. But basically, you'll be able to quickly get to those products you're interested in by using the top nav, and get a little more information about the underlying teams that are involved. And then for people that want to start the onboarding process, then this get more information form is where you want to go. For those of you that have onboarded with YCloud previously, you might have been used to seeing a 4-stack information form that you would fill out, and then this would come to us and we would contact you for a meeting. We're changing that slightly, where we still present this form, but this is really more of a general get started. Once you put in the information about who you are, who your association is, and what you're interested in, then at that point, we'll reach out and we'll get that meeting set up. And part of that experience will be getting a little more information so that we can generate those template sites that we'll use to create your new Virtual Y experience site or your YMCA's association website. So that's a new look on a familiar process, really. But again, this is currently kind of in its last stages of development, and we anticipate we will get this live very soon. So thank you very much.
And we'll be announcing that through this email distribution list, so keep an eye out for that. Tom, do I need to reshare my presentation?
I believe you do, yeah.
All right. All right, so our next release scheduled for completion in November, for December delivery. The big thing will be, it will really be built around Layout Builder, just Carnation for now. And as Andrii can comment on later, there is no migration path to Carnation. I have to say thank you, Y of the North, for getting us started with this code. You're very generous of you, and we look forward to building on the start you provided. There'll also be an update to Drupal 9.4, an update to Google Analytics v4. We're working with ActiveNet on a single sign-on solution. There'll be local bug fixes, clean up some technical debt, and support for PHP version 8. That's the plan. Let me open it up to the core team, put you on the spot. Any comments that around this, things the community should keep in mind as we work toward this release?
Let me add, Tom, because you mentioned my name, in regards to no migration path, yes, because it could add some worries to community. But what we mean about no migration path, it means that if you on your site already use Incarnation and you have a lot of content built by using OpenY distribution, that content will stay as is on your site without any changes. But in order for you to start using Layout Builder, you'll need to build the new pages by using layout builder functionality. And migration path is not possible from your old content built by OpenY paragraphs or OpenY components to layout builder content type. In order for you to do that migration, you'll need to rebuild the old page by using layout builder into a new page, which we call as a lazy migration. We did this a couple of times in the past.
Yeah, I want to just alleviate fears and concerns in this conversation about this as well. This would always be the case. It's not a OpenY or a transitional thing. This is how it works with Layout Builder, but the two can live in parallel. So your current site can live in parallel and Layout Builder can live in parallel. The real beauty of Layout Builder is really for the people on this call. It makes your day-to-day job easier. You can see how it looks in the back end as you're building it. It gives you inline visibility into how the page is going to look and style as you're going forward. And it is the way that Drupal is moving forward. The term no migration feels scary when we're speaking about it, but I want to make sure you guys are not terrified at that idea as this migration comes, and you can talk to your partner and they can help sort of coach you through this. We're all working on this collaboratively and together, but it's just a migration. So you can have a camp page up and then you can start adding new camp pages using Layout Builder. They can start looking the same and you can slowly migrate your content from one system to another system over time and as those natural changes occur to your website. So that's a huge piece of it. Tom, if I can give a little more detail about this particular release, because we're really excited. It'll be our first release with the new YUSA platform. And I know it's been a while since you guys have had some honest to goodness new things for the site. So obviously the Drupal update, that's the bread and butter. That's the changing the oil under the hood. ActiveNet is a big one, which we're working on. In terms of the technical debt and cleanup, there's a lot of things that I've been hearing from the community specifically over the last year. It's in there. We're getting the list together and we're going to get out as much of those small updates, changes to blocks, components, elements in there. So it's not just technical debt, it is little features, but they're the small ones that you guys have been asking for a while. And then in terms of Layout Builder, it'll be the first version of Layout Builder, but there will be many more versions to come in that we plan for it to grow. We're looking at a new design system as part of this as it goes. So this is our first step into making some pretty lovely, wonderful changes for you. And we're trying to focus on the one that will impact the content admins the most, which is all of you here and making it the most beneficial to you. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to ask in the YUSA Slack channel. We monitor it daily to make sure. And so if there's any questions or concerns, please feel free to put them in there or to talk to your partner directly as we're trying to get information out to them as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Kylie.
No problem.
Last slide, a look ahead. And Andrii, if you could comment on this as well.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the migration of OpenY to YMCA's website services and why that ultimately will be an important thing to do.
Yeah, so in terms of the code base, we are maintaining the same code base that everybody on this call using for their OpenY sites. But because of changes in names and changes in agreements, we made the forks, like copies of original codes, into YUSA organization in GitHub. So I just pronounced it a lot of technical names, but bear with me. So technically, you will need to update your latest version of OpenY to the first version of YMCA website services. And the difference between latest version of OpenY and first version of YMCA website services is the place where the code is being downloaded and the name. That is needed because the December release mentioned by Tom will include all changes that were just announced. And you will see probably just a couple of hours of development time in order to update your latest version of OpenY to the first version of YMCA website services. And then you'll just upgrade, as you usually did this for the OpenY, by using almost the same documentation with just different names and different places where the code is downloaded. So this is where we have upgrade path. So this is nothing to do, no custom development, unless you have some custom built components and you need to maintain and upgrade those components as you did for OpenY, as for custom developers. But for everything that is in OpenY core, all components that are in OpenY core, we maintain upgrade path. So that should be covered by core team.
So I'm just going to say this relatively the same thing Andrii said, but with very few technical words if possible. What he's saying is if you do it during your regular or in OpenY upgrade, for the lack of a term, you shouldn't really notice a difference. They're just going to have to repoint it to the new system, and your development team can support you in that endeavor. But you shouldn't notice, it shouldn't be like a big, we all saw slightly larger costs when we went to DrupalMine. It shouldn't be one of those. There's no expectation that it'll be like that. It'll be a normal upgrade. The only difference is that they will repoint it from the old repository of OpenY to the new one, and then we're all set. So if there's any questions, again, DM me directly, Slack. We're here to support you. Myself, Andrii, there's a whole bunch of other team members here that are happy to help and sort of make sure that you guys feel comfortable in this process.
Yeah, we replicated all chats from old OpenY Slack to the new YUSA Slack. So if you have developers questions, use developers chat. If you have some general questions, we have general chat. And if you have some specifics like GroupX or any other like pieces, just try to find the specific chat or just ask in general question where you should ask questions.
Absolutely.
And we'll try to help you. Okay. Thank you, Tom. That's all I had, unless there are questions.
Yeah, and with that, we can open it up to questions.
You can also post them. I know we've done this in the past. You can also post them in the chat, and I'll monitor the chat and ask them for you if people are nervous about actually putting their hand up. In terms of a little more information on, because I'm getting a lot of requests, and I just want to say thank you so much about the subject matter expert groups. As Tom Gardner said off the top, built for the community, by the community. We want to keep that going. We love this community. We feel passionate about this community. And I've been with you guys for many years. If I haven't met you yet, I'm sorry. I'm hoping to send out a notification or an email to the groups this week, or at least a couple of them, just as an introduction to say hi, followed up with most likely a doodle poll so we can figure out when we can get together and meet. So if you have any requests or if there's any thoughts, let me know. And we're going to try to get the strategy group and the design group moving this week and early into next week if I don't get it out this week. So just keep that, keep looking for that at any point. Any questions? Guys are so quiet.
I know. You're
making me nervous.
Tom, if I may.
Yes.
You know, Tom Scarborough already knows I'm always going to ask a question. I think I don't even understand enough to know what questions I should be asking right now. And maybe I'm speaking for other people who don't live in this very technical world. Kylie, thank you for translating. I have total respect for what this team has done and is doing. And I continue to say the speed that you're listening to us, the speed of your response, and your willingness to help those of us who are not quite so technically trained to understand is really helpful. But we haven't launched yet.
Yeah.
Like I am in that whole process of building, and every time I think I think I'm pretty close, then I find something else. So my only question right now is, should I just stop? Should I stop and wait, or do I just keep plowing ahead with what I'm doing?
You keep plowing ahead with what you're doing, honestly. So anybody who is not yet live, you keep plowing ahead with what you're doing. Your sites are getting built. You got to get it up to market, whatever version, without knowing that, whatever version you're on at the moment is okay. sites and team people on this call who've worked with me for the past many years knows that you go through upgrades in and out every year. It's part and parcel of owning a site. It's like owning a car. You have to change the oil if you like the car to work. Websites are no different. And so as the year goes on, you'll have to update. What we're telling or what we're trying to convey, Andrea, and if we're doing a bad job, thank you for letting me know, because we want to make this as simple as possible. As the time goes on, you're going to have to change the oil on your website. And in changing the oil on that particular website, you're going to have to then grab the YUSA version if you're not on that already. Your development partner can help you. If that is ImageX or 5jars or JW or YCloud, they can help you through that initiative. What we're trying to do is make you as aware as possible that these things are coming. And because we know you're a nonprofit, because we know that you're fiscally responsible, we want to make sure you have line of sight that this is a change that's going to happen over the course of the next few months. And if you don't go live until next year, you can do it next year. It's okay. But we want to make sure you know that when you do that upgrade, that you point it from the current OpenVY version to the YUSA version. It can be done pre-launch. It may not be necessary. It depends on which stage. And so I don't want to make a blanket statement across the board, but I am encouraging you to open that dialogue with your partner if that partner has not opened it with you already.
And look, one of the big reasons why we're making this jump is that in our current site, which is built with a local partner who's been with us for a long time and we love them, they've just evolved in a different direction. And I don't know when the last time the oil was changed in our current car, but I wouldn't want to look at it because it's pretty bad. So that is a big part of our, why we want to make this change, is to be able to have that kind of real-time support from people who understand what YMCAs need and what we're dealing with. And just your explanation of this layout builder. Look, I had never touched Drupal until I started doing all this. And my daughter, who is a digital marketing and design professional, said, "Ooh, good luck with that, Mom," because she knows I'm really more about the words than I am about how it all works. And I said, I'll figure it out. So I have no doubt if this is, I think I can visualize being able to see side by side real time. I love that. I'm just one of these people who I don't know enough yet about Drupal to be mad about something changing. So sounds great to me. So thank you very much.
No, and I don't want you to be mad. I want you to, we want to support you in that endeavor, however possible. If you ever have any questions, any of you can always reach out to me directly, or Andrii or Tom Scarsborough, and we'll help you kind of through that as best we can. There is a question from, not really a question from Liz, but Liz, you're nervous about Layout Builder and how that'll change the content admin work. What I can tell you, we've set up, Layout Builder is now in core with Drupal, especially Drupal. Is it 9, Andrii? Correct me, keep me honest, please.
It started in Drupal 8, so it's not Drupal 9 thing. In Drupal 9, it become like stable and mature with a lot of contrib models and way more better integrated with all other components from the Drupal world. Yeah,
it's Drupal's answer to sort of the self-modular website, for lack of a better term. It's their answer to make it so that you, Liz, as a content admin, when you're building a page, if you're in the Drupal backend right now, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, you can't really see how the component is going to look as you build the page. You add, everything is like you fill in a title, there's a title box, you fill in the title, there's a copy box, you fill in the copy, and then you add an image, and then you have to preview it to see how the page would build. When you do it this way, it actually builds as you can see it. So you can preview what the elements look like. You sort of drag and drop them onto the page, and it shows you what it's going to look like as it goes. It is just makes your lives easier. That's the sole purpose of it.
And important thing that if you're a fan of old way of working, you still have that opportunity by switching from Layout Builder to just abstract way of content editing.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility.
And Avi also posted a good tutorial, the link to tutorial. Drupalize Me, it's a great resource, and they like treat that tutorial as a like generic introduction and generic information about Layout Builder, because the reason why we are spending so much time on it is we are building and we are backporting some of the components from YMCA of the North, and we are adding some other components in order to meet YMCA specific demands. So you'll see Layout Builder, but with additional sugar added in order to meet brand guidelines, in order to have some very common and very needed components in order for you to build a good marketing pages.
Yes.
It's actually really reassuring for us. Part of it is we have a lot of content admins, and so there's a great deal of a learning scale curve maybe for everybody. And so just trying to meet our content admins where they are. I think this will be naturally very easy for some of us, and I think it will be very not easy for others. And so just trying to get a feel for that is definitely appreciated. And Andrea, I would just like to say that RY was in your exact same spot about 5 years ago. Our local developer went into a completely 180 different direction. And we were sort of left holding a site that we thought had been updated, and in fact actually had not been updated in an extremely long time, and was a security risk, and it was really challenging. And then we moved to OpenY, and then I think a month later there was a huge OpenY update that was a little intimidating. So I'm always happy to chat about that. If there's anything I can say or do that will help your nerves, please feel free to reach out, because it was definitely a stressful place for us as well.
I need to add from maintenance perspective that in OpenY documentation and now in YMCA website services documentation, because we copied that documentation from OpenY, we keep tracking of important versions that you need to upgrade your site to, and you should not skip those versions. To your point, Liz, that if your site, which was virtual Y old version of OpenY old version, missed a lot of upgrades, then your development partner should check that documentation and do a couple of steps in order to upgrade to the latest version of OpenY, and then to switch to the latest version of YMCA website services. So this is well documented. We have some of video tutorials in YouTube, and yes, please reach out in Slack messages. We will guide you through the process, or your partner through the process, how your site should be up to date.
Excellent.
Okay, there's a question as well, Tom, from Rick Nicholson. It said, is there a time estimate for Layout Builder functionality and for other themes? Where I'm going to answer this, and this is not going to be the answer you want, Rick, and I apologize. It depends on your site. The estimate to upgrade depends on your site and how many blocks you have and how many customizations you have and how different your theme is from a base theme. There's not going to be a set answer to that particular one, and it'll have to depend on each individual site and how you embark upon that particular journey. There is not a time estimate for Rose and Lily right now. And the reason is as part of the goals we're moving towards is looking on doing more of a system-based approach than a theme-based approach for the distributions, which we will talk about more in the coming months with the design subject matter group, so that we can get, and the strategy group, to get more indication of what that would look and sound like. I'm just seeing if there's any more questions.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. So there is no plan to upgrade Lily and Rose with Layout Builder functionality?
There is no plan to upgrade Lily and Rose, and the rationale behind this right now, just to give you guys a bit of a peek behind the curtain, is we're leaning towards, at the moment, a design system, which would give you the opportunity to make that Layout Builder look like Lily or Rose without it having to be theme specific. And so you would be able to upgrade to Layout Builder and have it look similar to or mimic your existing site, should you choose, and then have it move into that system. I'm going to speak slightly technical for a second. The real challenge with all the themes is they're heavy and they take a lot of energy, and there's a lot of maintenance. This isn't a new problem that the distribution has been having. As the distribution grew over the years, it became humongous. And so in a mechanism to sort of contain it, we are moving towards a system. The system will be more flexible in the front end to allow you to look like Lily, to look like Rose, or to look like Carnation without actually having to be a theme-based system. Does that make sense, Rick?
Yeah, that makes sense. But so there's a tremendous advantage to having a site that's on Carnation right now.
There's a, you know what, because no, there isn't. It will start.
Actually, I can speak to that question.
I just want to give 1 second for that,
Yes,
Andrii,
sure.
and then I'll let you answer the piece. It's not, we're focusing on the look of Carnation to start with, but it will be agnostic eventually. So it's just the first round. Sorry, Andrii.
No, all good. So that's a very reasonable question. And like, in order for you to upgrade to the layout builder, you definitely will, if you are on Carnation, you'll have less time of adoption, that's for sure. But we are going to, we are working on reviewing all components that we have in OpenY in order to remove components that we are not using and adopt all components into new design system, which means that for you, even if you are on not Carnation, you'll get benefits from the very fast release of YMCA website services, and you'll have a time in order to upgrade your content to new system. On a side note, for example, for the YMCA of the North, they still on YMCA of the Lily, and they started to use Layout Builder. And for Layout Builder, they use another theme. And it's possible for you, it's not a lot of time for your development partner to kind of open functionality based on a Layout Builder on Carnation on your site and still maintain the old content based on Lily or Rose. And to your Kylie point, yes, with the new design system, even on Carnation, you can start building pages that will be looking similar to any theme that you have currently on your site. Hopefully I answered to your question.
Does that answer, Rick?
You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for questioning.
It is our, I want to reiterate since the beginning of the distribution, it is our goal to make sure that everything is as cost efficient for you guys as possible, that we're keeping migration costs in mind, that we're being as supportive as possible. We don't want anything that's got these massive updates and massive costs and things like that that become unpalatable to use organizations. So that is always at the forefront of our mind and into the things that we're attempting to do and promote for you guys. I just want to address, Mike, you had a question about, is it similar to how Wix website work? Sort of, to be honest with you. Sort of. Layout Builder is sort of similar to how it works in terms of how you kind of drag and drop. It gives you a real-time view of what you're asking for. So yes, that's exactly what it is. But it should be, it is our hope that it's a positive change. As we get closer to the next release, we would love to do a demo for you when we get there and then we get to a stable version, but we're just sort of wading our feet into this right now. But I promise you, you guys will get to see it and we'll do a demo and we'll walk you through sort of how it looks. If you had the ability to see the Y North demo a couple months ago, you got to see sort of what it looked like on their side. And so it's based off of that.
And we have that recording in YouTube, so yeah.
We absolutely do. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else. Tom, Gardner, I think that was our last question on the chat at the very least.
Great, excellent. And thank you, Kylie and Andrii, for your help with the questions. Thanks to everyone for taking time to join us today. I like that we were able to have more interaction. You know, I stand before you and say this is the most interaction I've ever experienced as a newcomer, and it's great.
We are getting better, Tom, right?
Yeah, I know. We're going to continue to grow, and you know, what I'm excited about is the day when we've got participants coming out of the subject matter teams of design, strategy, and marketing to share the fruits of those team efforts. But thank you to the core team for your help today. Thank you for everyone that joined in, and have a great day.
Thank you. It was lovely seeing you all again.
Take care.
Okay. Bye now.